Okay. A very good morning, all of you. As you are well aware, that topic of webinar is New Education Policy 2020. The speaker for the day is well-known educationist Dr. Jatinder Singh Bal, a former VC SBB University. Now I request Professor Neeraj Kumar Sharma, Head of Department Philosophy, to conduct further proceeding. Thank you, Neeraj sir.
Thank you, madam. I request all the participants to mute their mics for the time being. Uh, uh, a very good morning to all of you. Uh, Principal sir has to, in fact, they have gone to some meeting. Due to that very reason, I will be performing overlapping functions now. Uh, I once again formally welcome all of you in today's national webinar on national education policy. Many people used to call it new education policy. Although it is new, but it is national education policy, and we should know a bit about it. I will try to introduce the topic. National education policy is a policy formulated by the government of India to promote and regulate education in India. The policy covers elementary education to higher education to both rural and urban India. The new national education policy usually comes along every few decades. The need for such a policy was first felt in 1964 during one of the brainstorming sessions in the Parliament of the nation. The same year, the 17-member Education Commission headed by then UGC Chairperson Mr. D.S. Kothari was constituted to draft a national and coordinated policy on education. Based on the suggestions of this commission, Parliament passed the first national education policy in 1968 under the Prime Ministership of Indira Gandhi. The second NEP came in 1986 under the Prime Ministership of Rajiv Gandhi. The NEP of 86 was revised in 92 when P.V. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. Later, certain modifications were done when Dr. Manmohan Singh was PM. The third NEP came in the Prime Ministership of Narendra Modi in 2020, that it is known that NEP 2020. Now it's the duty of the various sections of intelligentsia who have a knowledge related to the content of the policy, so that a critical evaluation can be done through turning of ideas. Besides, we must know that NEP only provides a broad direction and is not mandatory to follow. Since education is a concurrent subject, both the center and the state governments can make laws on it. The reforms proposed can only be implemented collaboratively by the center and the states. This webinar is an humble attempt in the direction of getting factual, conceptual, and evaluative understanding of the National Education Policy 2020. This webinar in this direction will be a one step ahead, I suppose, and I request all the participants to listen carefully, and later in the reflective session, they should participate in the session of sharing of ideas. I just very briefly once again welcome you all, and I give a bit introduction of Dr. Bal. Dr. Jatinder Singh Bal is former Vice Chancellor of Sant Baba Tal Singh University, Jalandhar. He has done his doctorate in computer engineering from Punjabi University, Patiala. He guided 12 PhD scholars in the field of computer engineering. Written around 200 research papers in national and international journals. Dr. Bal has been awarded by various national and international bodies for his excellence in the field of computer engineering and educational administration. He lectured in Canada, UK, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, and other countries. Dr. Bali has been invited speaker in various foreign universities. Due to his caliber, he is a member of various academic bodies in India as well as abroad. He interacted with Indian PM and President for the emerging issues in internal and in higher education. I welcome delegates from different parts of the country and abroad. I also welcome all my colleagues and students. On this occasion, I congratulate the Department of Library Science of our college, Dr. Ram Singh, Library Department, and I also congratulate my colleague, Dr. Jatinder Singh, Madam Benjana, for taking this initiative. So, best wishes to all of you for participating in it. Now, may I request Professor Dr. Jatinder Singh Bal to start his lecture. After his lecture, interaction session will take place. Thank you.
Good morning to all of you.
And please mute your mics. Just observe. Please सभी अपने mics mute कर लें. मैं भी कर लूँगा ताकि audio quality ठीक आए. Thank you.
My voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
So, respected Principal, Bearing Union Christian College, Neeraj Kumar Sharma, Madam Ranjana, and the main instrument for this lecture.
Please switch on your video, sir. Your video is not visible.
Yes,
Thank you.
available? Okay.
Okay.
So, Dr. Neeraj Kumar Sharma, Dr. J.P. Singh, and Madam Ranjana, I'm thankful to all of you for giving me the opportunity to speak on National Education Policy 2020. So, I also welcome all the respected teachers and other my dear students who are keen interested for the National Education Policy 2020. So, before starting the session for National Education Policy 2020, I just want to brief that what is the need of the system, what is the need of new education policy. So National Education Policy, we call it a new education because this is the recent policy. Earlier policy was developed in 1968. Then 1986 and little modification was done in 1992. So the major reform in education system was bring in the 2020. So we call it New Education Policy 2. So NEP 2020. So if I talk about education system, there are two major flaws in education system. One is the education and other is the system. So this is the major flaw, because if this is the effective education system, then why there is brain drain? Why the intellectual, why the student they are moving towards other country for their future? One thing. Second point, if the education system is effective, then why even the Switzerland, if I talk about the Switzerland country, which are number one in research and innovation, India are producing more engineers than the overall population of the Switzerland. Even then they are on number one. Third, if I talk about the current education system, if the system is effective, then why our graduate, postgraduate and others are pass out even with the good percentage, 70, 80 and 90, 92, 95, they are not getting good job. And even employability is not the major concern. In today's scenario, the major concern is the underemployability. Most of the graduate, postgraduate, doctorate, they are working on very less salary as compared to their qualification and as compared to what they should get. So the underemployment is the major problem in the current scenario. Fourth point, if I consider current education system, then one report of the SCR that overall 80% of engineer graduate, they are unemployable. Mean they are not eligible, they are not able to do job in the corporate world. Reason? Because there are two different worlds. One is the academic world, other is the corporate world, and third is the social world. So mean what we are doing, what we are providing in the education world is totally mismatched from the corporate world. Mean academia industry gap is there. Also, even what we are studying in the academic world is not able us to do our life properly in the social world. So these are the few questions. Even there is no any provision in the current education system that if student want to take particular subject for their choice, so they are unable to choose that subject because due to the rigid system of education or due to the current constraint in the education system to get the particular point. Next point, that why there is a education policy, because current system is what we are getting and focusing only on the marks. We will get a good job if we are having good marks. There is no any provision of innovation, no any provision of critical thinking, no any provision of overall personality, no any provision of skill, creativity. So these things are totally missed in the current education system. Even if I talk about the examination system, we call it as a lottery examination system, because once or twice a year we are appearing in the exam, and maybe some of the intellectual mind on that day maybe not feel well, maybe due to they may late, they may having some other engagement, that time may be not good for them. So we are analyzing their ability only on the basis of that system. So actually, and moreover, we are treating every student in a same manner. Even there is one quote by the Einstein that every person is a genius person. So if every person is genius, then why there are number of persons who are not getting desired job? Why they are not getting? Why they are employed under wages? Why they are employed? Even they are looking for the opportunity by leaving the country. So these are the major issue, because we are not prepared well-formed mind. We prepared only the well-filled mind. ਅਸੀਂ well-filled ਤਾਂ करते, we have filled well-filled by giving so much of the material from school level, from the college level. Even we need to think whether the material, whether the study that we are providing to the students, whether the relevance is there, or we are giving a number of irrelevant things to the students. Even if we talk about mathematics, everyone know about the a plus b whole square and a square plus b square 2ab. But where to use, how many know where we can use this formula? Moreover, if we every day we are using mobile, and due to the facility of science and technology, we are interacting with each other even from the far geographical locations. So we are interacting. We are using mobile, but how from us who know that who invented the mobile phone? How we invented the mobile phone? So these are the some of the factors that we need to consider before discussing new education policy or national education policy. Even more on that, most of the school, they are providing English from 1st class to 12th class. Means student, they are taking English for 12 years, including books, including teacher, and 12 years. Even they are unable to speak English properly. But there is on other side, there are 5-year kids who are speaking English well, even without books. We need to think about the same area, or we are treating each and every individual on the same way. If I talk about the Guru Dronacharya ने जो ट्रीट किया, जो एक बेसिक एजुकेशन दी, all parts को same, ਪਰ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੀ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ, ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੈਸਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਪਾਂਡਵਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਿੱਲ ਦੇ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗਲੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ। ਬਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਦ ਬਾਈ ਨਾਟ ਟੇਕਿੰਗ ਦ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਬਟ ਜਸਟ ਫॉर getting the good job, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਫਰਸਟ ਸਾਇੰਸ then commerce then arts, so we are leaving those system for the in the current education system. And moreover, there is one rigidity in the education system that the student have to fulfill 75% of the attendance. Mean their target is not to be a good individual, not to be to serve the nation, not to contribute to the nation. So their objective is just to fulfill the 70% and then to get the marks, and after that nothing to remember for the life and nothing to do for the life learning skills. So even current education system are not fulfilling the change of job role. So if I talk about the market scenario, 30% of the job roles are now changed. So these are the some of the reason to bring the new education policy. One more thing, we Indian contributing 18% of world's population. And if I talk about the current scenario, we are having 1043 university and more than 14 lakh school and 42,000 colleges in India, along with 17 regulatory bodies, dental council, medical council, nursing council, technical council, architectural council, 16 regulatory bodies, 14 lakh school, 42,000 colleges, 1,300 university, and moreover, we contributing 18% of world's population. So if I talk about the ranking, global ranking, where we stand from the last many years, we are not standing in top 10, not 100, not 200, not 300. In the 2020 ranking, IIT Roper was the first Indian institute which was on the position of 333rd position. So the population which are contributing 18% in the world population, but not standing anywhere. Even the Singapore country, they are having university in the top 10. There are a number of universities over USA, Canada. Even Canada, their population is less than I think 1%, and they are contributing their 5 universities in the top 100. So we are not standing globally anywhere. So that even if I talk about the research, 18% population, and we are contributing only 2.5% of research. So that was the need of the new education policy. So in this talk, we will plan it first little about what are the various features of new education policy, the national education policy, then little about the structure in higher school education, then higher education, then about the various aspects of national education policy from the teacher's perspective, students' perspective, management perspectives, and what about the community perspectives of new education policy. So first, before going through that, just brief about the history. I think already Professor Dr. Neeraj Kumar Sharma discussed little about the history of education system in India. What about the various reforms was performed in 1968, then 1986. So first thing, now we are in the era, if I talk about last 10 years, in last 10 years, we bring the lots of changes. So 1000 year में नहीं हुई, तो last 10 year में we have bringing those changes, but very I think very shameful for all of us that we have taken 34 years of time for bringing the new national education policy. After 34 years, when in the time when we are getting updation, not even a day, even twice a day, even thrice a day. So if I talk about and we are not updating our curriculum regularly. So these are the major issues. So first, if I talk about the major highlights of the new education policy in the higher education, graduation will be 3 year or 4 year, master will be 1 year or 2 year. There will be no any place of MPhil degrees, totally I think eradicated. Then the PhD may be 4 year. So some other initiative, if I talk about in brief about the institute perspectives, institute must be multidisciplinary in nature. Minimum they need to sustain for minimum with 3,000 students. All the colleges will be autonomous college, degree awarding college. Three types of institute will be there: research university, teaching university, and degree awarding college. And major drawback that master will be only run by the universities, not in the college. No any college will run the master degree, they will run only with the UG degree. So colleges need to, I think, need to update the infrastructure, need to update the courses to be fit for the new education policy. First is the brief about the school education. Earlier system was in the school system is about the 6-year entry and remain in school for 12 years. The model is 10 plus 2, mean first to 10th, then 2 for plus 1 and plus 2, and in plus 1 and plus 2, this is the specialization standard. We can take science, commerce, arts, or any other. In new education policy, the system is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Again, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. 5 means the first, that is a foundational standard. Foundational standard, first 3 year will be reserved for only for the playway, for the videos, for art craft, for some other activities. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਸਕੂਲ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਣਗੇ, that is for the first 3 years. ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਸਨ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕਸਾਈ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਬੱਕਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਲਿਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਡੈਡ ਇਹ ਬੱਕਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਕੱਢ ਰਿਹਾ? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਬੇਟਾ ਇੱਕ ਕਸਾਈ ਆ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਲਿਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਵਾ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇਹਦਾ ਕੱਟਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ। ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਓਕੇ ਪਾਪਾ, ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਲ ਛੱਡਣ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਸੋ ਦਿਸ ਵਾਜ਼ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਜ਼ਰੀਆ, ਸਾਡਾ ਵਿਊ ਸੀਗਾ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ। ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਆ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ। ਸੋ ਉਹ ਮਾਲ 'ਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹਣਗੇ, ਪਾਰਕ 'ਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹਣਗੇ, ਕਿ ਹੋਰ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਟਿਵ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹਣਗੇ, ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਨਾਲ ਖੇਲਣਾ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰਨਗੇ, ਬਟ ਸਕੂਲ ਇੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹਵਾ ਬਣ ਚੁੱਕਾ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਸਟ 3 ਈਅਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਫਸਟ 3 ਈਅਰ ਆਰ ਮੀਨਡ ਓਨਲੀ ਫॉर ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੱਚੇ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕੰਸਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣਾ ਦਿਲ ਲਗਾਏ, ਉੱਥੇ ਖੇਡੇ, ਜੋ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ। ਬੱਚਾ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਹੀ ਸੋਚੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਔਰ ਮੈਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਲੇ ਕਰਨਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਥਮੈਟੀਕਲ ਜਾਂ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਲੇ ਮੈਥਡ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਜਾਏ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ। Because this is there are number of factors if I talk about the policy and if I talk about the implementation. Because if we have to do that type of activity, we need to train the teachers. No issue. Government increased the GDP earlier from 3% GDP to now 6% of the GDP for the education sector. But there are major reform, major infrastructure requirement and other requirements are also there that we need to fulfill. So in the school education, first 5 years that are meant for 3 years for the playway and next 2 years for grade 1, standard 1 and standard 2. So in addition to that, then next 3 years will be standard 3rd, 4th and standard 5th. Mean pre-primary university ਜਾਂ preparatory ਅਸੀਂ new education ਚ ਉਹਨੂੰ preparatory ਬੋਲ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ preparatory ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ first ਦਾ recommended ਸੀਗਾ when we have attended the meeting in 2018-19 with Honorable Prime Minister for the new education policy, it was decided that the pre-primary and foundational and preparatory will be only in the regional language. But regional language, there were number of drawbacks. There are number of employees who are working in other states. If I talk about the army, banking, and there are other central government employees, if their awards are currently there in Punjab, they are taking 2 or 3 years in the Punjabi, in the regional language. It's good. China, Russia, France, they are using their regional language, their mother tongue for the communication, for teaching. It's good. But there at the same time, there are limitations because India, they are a multilingual culture. So how it is possible that a student who are taking or child who are taking 2 or 3 years study in Punjabi and after that if their parents migrated to Maharashtra, how he or she will take in that language, in Marathi language, in Kannada language. So all the problem karke now regional language must be there, but there will be option if student want to take English as their language of teaching. But I'm very much sure I know about the Indian education culture and system. Like previously, the privatization, English school were there and government school were also there. The increase earlier, the strength in the private school was the one reason, that is due to the English only. Again, this will be a problem that most of the students, they will prefer English school as compared to the regional language school. But the provision will be there in both the school. So in the school education, first 5 years as a foundational, then next 3 years, that is 5 plus 3, third, fourth, and fifth. Then major reform is there from in the middle section, that is the 6th, 7th, or 8th. Earlier it was taken as only theoretical, but there are two major initiatives that they have taken for the reform. First, vocational education will be there. Vocational means student can opt electrician, plumbing, carpenter, even housekeeping, or there may be cooking, or maybe any profession. Student will opt vocational training and will also take 15 days as a vocational training in the particular जितने भी है industry या maybe anywhere, क्योंकि इधर 2-3 reasons were back supporting to this education. Why vocational education in the school level? First, if I talk about my country, more respect is there for the teacher, doctor, engineer, and other white collar jobs as compared to plumber, driver, mechanic, and others. They are not getting good respect. So, like in the some of the country in the Europe, they are giving respect to all, equally to all the professions, maybe plumbing, maybe doctor, maybe engineer. So, same expected in this country. So, if student, they will work, so definitely they will be successful and they will definitely respect for that profession. Second, why vocational in middle? Second, because if I talk about today's scenario, if I have to call a doctor, if I have to call an engineer, I think they may be available immediately. But if I have to call any expert, skilled worker like for the carpenter, for plumbing, for sanitation, that may take 2-3 days. Because ਅਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਲੋਕ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਕਟਰ, ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰ, CA ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਜੌਬਸ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭੇਜਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, but don't want that because there is major partiality from the our side, there are major gap in the wages because the wages for those jobs are not good. Third, there will be one more initiative in the vocational training, that is the coding will be there. Like the system, I think this feature was taken from the China education. The student from 6th onward classes, they will participate in the computer programming, in how to develop a program, how to create an innovation and critical thinking and all. Next, about the last 4, that is a major reform. Earlier, we choose the subject at 11th standard. Mean medical, non-medical, arts or any, we choose at that level. Now, it is possible to choose any subject combination in 9th class. We can choose history with chemistry, we can take physics with music. There will be one core subject and other will be elective subject. So student can opt any elective or any subject which they have interested. Mean ethical when we take the subject of our interest, definitely we will be successful. Because Einstein view every person is genius. ਅਸੀਂ rat race ਚ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, because we are every running, all doctor, all engineer. When we take admission in +1, all are considering themselves as a doctor. But that is a rat race, whether we successful or not in that race. So if we take the interdisciplinary combination, that maybe leads to the major contribution to the nation, that may leads to the employability, that may leads to the good wages, that may leads to overcome all the problems, that may leads to the stop the brain drain from India. So ਉਹਦੇ ਚ 9th 10th 11th 12th ਚ ਅਸੀਂ subject combination choose ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Commerce student can opt for physics. ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ example ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਜੇ if I talk about the Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ study ਕੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ times ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, because this system was earlier available in US and many other countries. Mark Zuckerberg ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ study ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹਦੀ psychology and computer computer background, he know about how to chat, develop chat.
डॉक्टर साहब जस्ट एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि ये आप ना इंग्लिश के साथ साथ अगर हिंदी जोड़ लें तो वो थोड़ा बेटर है, क्योंकि काफी ज्यादा यहाँ हमारे कुछ फ्रेंड्स असम, उड़ीसा, बंगाल से भी बीच हैं, तो आप पंजाबी की जगह साथ में हिंदी को अपडेट कर लें. थैंक यू.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Sure. So I will take care. I consider that most of the participant there from local. No issue. Definitely will Hindi or in English. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So if I consider about the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th standard, student can opt any subject, mean commerce with some other subject and complete their school education. But there is a major question arise that whether a person who want to be a doctor, whether जो वो सब्जेक्ट ले रहा है वहाँ 9th, 10th, +1 और +2 में, क्या केमिस्ट्री के बिना वो डॉक्टर बन पाएगा, या फिजिक्स के बिना वो डायग्नोस के जो सब्जेक्ट एरियाज हैं डॉक्टरेट में, क्या वो कंप्लीट कर पाएगा. सो उसमें देयर में बी सम core subjects from which they must have to perform if they are taking as a medical as a major, commerce as a minor. Then if taken arts as a major and commerce as a minor, so major minor का जो है वो वहाँ देखा जाएगा. इसके अलावा the major reform in that sector, because till time in India only there is one assessment that we do, that is only the marks, and that is only the examination once or twice in a year. I mean, if semester system twice in a year, otherwise in a years. We are not considering other factor of the students like creativity, innovation, ideas, overall personality. What about their services to the community, contribution to the community? Only marks basis. Now the evaluation is changed. Evaluation will be based on the 4 points. First is the marks. Second, by self. Because most of the decision after our education, after when we completing our education, we are the alone, we are the self who are taking various decisions. What we have to do, what we have not to do, where we have to invest, where we have not to invest, and we are assessing ourselves in the whole of the life. If first 25 years we are evaluated by the marks, then in the main life we have to evaluate ourselves. So this practice is initiated in this policy that students will evaluate themselves. How I am good in mathematics, how I am good in particular skill, how I am good in sports, how I am good in extracurricular activity. Second, one is killing thing in the education system. Here I want to speak a little about the British education system that was given in 1835, because the East India companies, their major requirement were first to communicate with Indian people. Second, to get the manpower for clerical system, just for the members who can do labor worker. So these were the 2 major requirements of the British government. So they have developed their system accordingly. Our system is not knowledge based. So secondly, they want to communicate in English because they know English, so they want the worker of the same background. So now the system should be changed. And a competition over there, more memory, more marks, good job. Till time, this is the scenario. Even each and everywhere, little things where we are appearing in the test. Otherwise, most of the time, they have 35% their master degree from the UG degree. Marks are considered in the many jobs in our country. Simply, first evaluation marks, second evaluation by self, third evaluation by the classmates, because competition kills us. Competition से हम यही लर्न करते हैं कि how to kill others, how to succeed and how to defeat others. So competition की जगह पे क्या आ जाएगा, जहाँ cooperation. If I have to taken the marks or evaluation from my classmates, then definitely my behavior towards my classmate and after all throughout my life towards society, I will definitely contribute to the communal harmony. और definitely हम लोग वहाँ जो एक अच्छी society का निर्माण कर पाएंगे if we learn about the cooperation, not to the competition. So third जो evaluation करेगा student की, वो student उसके classmates करेंगे. फोर्थ उसके रिपोर्ट कार्ड में जो evaluation by the teacher mean how he is in the extracurricular activities, sports, and other activity, other behavior, contribution to the community. Because if I say the current education system है हमारा, हम उसमें स्टूडेंट को लिटिल अबाउट झूठ बोलना भी सिखाते हैं. अगर वो बोले कैसे, I have tried in the 14 schools and about 600 students were participated. Given them essay on my friend, and one class written the same answer. My friend is Ram, his father is doctor, his mother is teacher, and he rise up in the early morning. He is good in sports, always topper. I think this is the wrong. Why he is not asking their friend? My friend is my friend's father is laborer. My friend's father is electrician. Because we have developed a society where we have given the partiality to the skilled worker, and more the retrogression is there. Even if I talk about the periodic table, for example, 116 elements were discovered, and my syllabus is old from 2009. Same syllabus I studied. So if I write how many elements are there in periodic table, 116, even more than 118. If I write 118, my point will be deducted. And the 1 point marks, I think value is known by the person who are on the 34 or 99 points. So there will be a holistic assessment of the student. First by marks, second by self, third by teacher, and fourth by classmates. So this was a little about the school education, and in addition to that, there is one major initiative that they have taken. If I talk about the holistic learning system, I think the education policy is providing the holistic development of the children. In the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th class, they may take foreign language. Foreign language, they may take French, they may other. The provision will be there. I think we should need to prepare the school very well, because we need to so many teachers. Even if I am not considering only the Punjab, but there are other states. There are lots of deficiencies. There are deficiencies of teachers are there in the government schools too. So this was a little about the school education. And now, if I talk about the higher education, graduation will be 3-year and 4-year. Why 2 graduations? 3-year graduation for those who just want to take their graduation, then want to appear for the tests like IAS, PCS, civil services, UPSC, and other services. They will be eligible after 3 years. And the student who want to pursue their master or research, 4th year will be the research year. Very important and very user friendly, and I think very student friendly factor in the current education, in the new education policy, National Education Policy 2020, is multiple entry, multiple exit system. Mean if student entering first year and just complete 1 year only, then he will be awarded as graduate certificate. And again, if he complete second year, then he will get graduate diploma certificate. If complete 3 years, then he will take a graduation degree. And if in the graduation 4th year completed, then will get a graduation, research graduation degree. So at the same time, combination will be like in the school. We can take any combination. If we are unable to take particular subject in the first semester, we can leave in the second semester. If we talk about the current system, in the 3 year, I think if I talk about the science, they are taking around 24 subjects, 25 subjects. And if I talk about humanities, they are taking about 15 to 16 subjects. What about our view? If a student clear all their exam very well in the 50%, 60%, and left with one reappear that is only in BA1 in English and BA2 English, or maybe science student, maybe in mathematics, what will happen with that candidate if he lost all the chances or not got a degree? Meaning he is not eligible for the graduation. So this system was improved. अगर कोई स्टूडेंट का किसी कारण से एक रीपीयर रह गया, he is not good in English. That does not mean he is not good. But here considered, if a candidate not good in English, mean he considered he is poor. but not. I think we should need to consider if he is not good in English, he is good in other languages. He is good in Punjabi. He is very good in Hindi. He is good in Marathi and good in other languages. No need that we should be good in English only. We should need the new education policy, national education policy. Major objective is to promote our regional language. So it was a time, I am talking about back, I think 16 or 17, when 13 rupees of Indian equal, when 13 USA dollar was equal to 1 rupees of India. So now it is totally changed. In India, we are having a rich culture. We are having everything. We no need to go anywhere in Canada, USA, UK for that. I think just need to improve the system, need to bring the proper implementation of the same. So first, graduation 3 year or 4 year, then there will be master 1 year for those who are having graduation 4 year and who are having graduation later on for 2 years. Their master will be for 2 year, then PhD will be 4 year. PhD nowadays only a theoretical model. We are just completing PhD just for to become in the teaching, for getting a promotion, for getting other. There may be some of the faculty members or some of the who are taking PhD with their interest for doing research, for contributing to the nation. But most of the, as a vice chancellor, I have remained there for 5 years. Considered many candidates who are pursuing just PhD, not for contributing to the nation, but just for their promotion, or for clearing the condition, or for getting the job. So these were the major reason leading to the PhD degree. Even I visited around 12 countries for the education system. Now I'm going to shortly join to the University of Fraser Valley as a Vice President Academics. I studied their education system too. But there is no any requirement for the PhD that you must PhD, you must have to research for that. So research should be practical based, community based, so which community can fulfill their requirements, so fulfill their ideas. So this was about the graduation, post-graduation, and about the research. There is one major facility even nowadays available. UGC issue a letter that is the academic credit bank. So like there are 2 courses, massive open online courses are there. There are some other courses, online courses, and even in the new education policy, student can take more subjects, even more subjects he can take in 11th and 12th, even graduation first year, second year. So these credits he or she can deposit in their academic bank whenever he or she want to complete the degree or want to leave some subject. Those credit will be considered for completing their degree. Even currently, if student complete their 3 years and not come back, even in the final year, if a student in the final year and left the education due to some reason and again want to continue in BA third year, I think current system will not allow that, because current system is result. They have again come to the first year, and at the same time, the current education system, student can even after graduate certificate program or diploma certificate program, and then can restart their graduation and restart their education anytime. So this was a little about the higher education scenario. There will be no affiliating university, no affiliated college. College will be degree awarding, but the college have to fulfill the multidisciplinary environment, minimum strength of 3,000. Otherwise, all the subjects should be there. And moreover, for managing all those education, earlier was the ministry, MHRD ministry. Now the name is changed, Ministry of Education. Earlier the name was Ministry of Education, again was changed. Now again Ministry of Education. And to manage overall education in the country, there will be one commission, that is the Higher Education Commission of India. And again, Higher Education Commission of India having 4 different vertical, which will they manage the regulation, maintaining of standard, maintaining of fee regulation. Fee regulation will be there. All the government, private school, colleges, their fee will be managed by the government and by the concerned authority. So in the other commission, there will be different governors, board of governors, which will manage the same. Japni, please come. I'm just sharing little about the presentation of today's. Dr. Neil, presentation is available?
Sir, I think you can take 5 to 7 minutes more. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just go through the presentation. Just
you can go 5 more minutes. You can take 5 more minutes, sir.
Okay, will be completed.
Thank you.
Screen presentation. Okay. So this is the education landscape of India. Universities, standalone institutions, schools, and students. These are the evolution. University Education Commission, then the various commission we have already discussed, and last was the Dr. Kasturi Ranjan Committee report on 31st May 2019. This was the roadmap, how the policy was finalized, and this was, I think, there are a number of stakeholders were participating in the consultation process. Nearly 2.5 lakh gram panchayat, 6,600 blocks, districts, and after that the draft was prepared in 22 languages in written as well as in audio books. So these are the features. All higher education under one regulator, common norms place private public higher education, MPhil courses to be discontinued, board exam to be based on knowledge application, mother tongue will be promoted, common entrance test for university and in other higher education, school curriculum to be reduced because we have to initiate vocational and other. That is why
presentation दिखाई नहीं दे रही है स्क्रीन पे प्लीज इनु
presentation नहीं दिखाई दे स्क्रीन पर थोड़ा
नहीं दे रही स्क्रीन पे just I'll share this presentation on YouTube channel, that is Punjabi Course 77. I will share this PPT over there.
Is there any technical problem here right now?
Maybe.
Okay then, please continue with your oral discourse. Huh?
It is clear now?
Yes.
Now it is clear.
Now it's clear. Okay. This is the transforming curricular and changes in the existing 10+2. We have discussed 3+2+3, 3 and 4. So this is the foundational, primary, middle and secondary education. This is what about the various activity in the childhood education, logical thinking, developing curiosity, play-based storytelling, teamwork and collaborations. Major reform in school education we have already discussed. Reduction in syllabus, vocational integration from class 6, and board examination will be. One more thing, central government have taken more power from the states, because earlier state have the various powers to take the various initiative, but now in the National Education Policy 2020, there are very little in the state, otherwise there will be common framework. 30 holistic progress card. These progress card include self, classmate, teacher, marks. Digital library should be there. Major reform in higher education, 3 or 4 year degree, PG 1 or 2 year, integrated will be there, MPhil to be discontinued. Credit transfer and academic bank of credit we have already discussed. Online and self, like their inspection system, we have to apply then inspection. This is only for the university, and because no affiliating college, no affiliating university, so we'll directly with the HECI, Higher Education Commission of India, will take care of all those things. GDP increased from 3 to 6. This is the structure of degree program. These are the 4 verticals. of HECI, that is the Higher Education Commission of India. First is the National Higher Education Regulatory Council, which will regulate all the institute in India. Second vertical will be General Education Council, standard setting. Third is the Higher Education Grant Council for funding. And last, the Accreditation Council. That is currently, there are three bodies for accreditation. One is the NAC, second is the NBA, third is the ranking, National NIRF. So there are three bodies, will be only one, that is the National Accreditation Body. These will work with standard regulation, accreditation and funds. In addition to that, such foundation will be there, and grants will be given to private and public colleges equally on the basis of their accreditation score. So these are the major reforms in the higher education. So like they have taken the target that 2 crore students who are dropout will be taken back. That means maybe many vacancies for the teacher there. And moreover, one thing I want to discuss, because most of the participants today, they are teacher. Teacher will be on 5-year full-time basis, but not on the permanent basis. After 5 years, their performance will be reviewed. Performance will be reviewed or not only by the employer, will be reviewed by the students. Feedback will be taken from students, then from the community, third from their colleagues, and fourth from the employer. So overall, teacher the term next term will be given on the basis of their performance in the previous 5 years. So this is a little reform in the teacher education. So this is a nutshell about the education system, multidisciplinary, holistic education, multilingual system, formative assessment. So these are the some of the factors for national education policy. So I have tried my best for covering the major points for the national education policy. So rest, I will share some of my videos on Punjabi Courts 77 channel. So what about aspects of teacher, what about aspects of institute, what about how the some factor will there, even something or not clear in the policy. And one very important question I think in everybody's mind, then what about the implementation? When the education policy will be implemented? Earlier was planned for 2022, but I think not possible due to COVID. I think we are just in the mid of the year and very tough to develop such a little infrastructure to totally change in the system. So some other we have a total implementation plan for higher education. It is up to first phase 2030 and complete reform as per the new national education policy 2020, or we can say new education policy will be 2040. So once again, thanks to Principal Dr. Edwin C, Professor Dr. Neeraj Kumar, Professor Dr. J.P. Singh, and Ranjana for coordinating this. So I am available for the session, for interactive session with all my colleagues, all my friends, all participants for the national education policy. So thank you. I am just waiting for your queries and for the discussions.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Your session is very informative. से मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी अभी फीडबैक लिंक आएगा तो आप प्लीज उसे फिल कर दीजिए क्योंकि उसी के बेसिस पे ही आपको सर्टिफिकेट इशू होंगे. So kindly fill the feedback form. Okay, Neeraj sir, let's you proceed.
Now let us, thank you ma'am for the information. Let us be ready for the most important, one of the most important sessions. I really thank Dr. Bal for your empirically quite descriptive presentation. Although you try to cover many aspects, most of the aspects of the LEP 2020, yet it is so vast that within the time issued to you, it was quite a big challenge. So you are successfully and mentally stimulating us at least, and we will try to discuss here now. Now I request two teachers, professors, educationists, Professor Gurpreet Singh and Professor Ajit Miller. But first I will ask Professor Gurpreet Singh. He's a good friend of mine, and I think he's a lecturer in one of the government schools, and he is quite active as a teacher activist. From student time onwards, we are known to each other. I know his critical faculties, his evaluative skills. So I request Mr. Gurpreet Singh to give your response on NEP 2020. Thank you. गुरप्रीत अपना माइक अनम्यूट करके आप अपना जो रिस्पॉन्स है इस पे दें।
ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਉਹ ਭਾਸ਼ਾਵਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਹੈ। ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਥੋੜੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਹੂਲਤ ਲਈ। ਮੈਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਅਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਵਕਤਾ ਨੇ, ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਉਵੇਂ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦਾ। ਜਿਹੜਾ जो डॉक्टर जी ने बात की है अपनी, उसमें ज्यादा तौर पर जो उनका वक्तव्य है उसको केंद्रित किया गया है ज्यादा तौर पर जो एकेडमिक्स हैं, पॉलिसी के जो एकेडमिकल पार्ट्स हैं उनके बारे में ज्यादा बात की गई है। और एक तरह की जो एक्सप्लेनेशंस हैं उन्होंने दे दी हैं, इसके लिए उनका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। पर एक चीज मुझे महसूस होती है कि उन्होंने अपनी तरफ से कोई क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस इस नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का नहीं किया। इससे पहले की जो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसीज हैं उनके नजरिए से भी इस पॉलिसी को और इससे आगे की भी कुछ बातें हो सकती हैं। कुछ नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में कहा गया है वो कोई फुल स्टॉप वाली बात नहीं है तो उस पर सारा कुछ खत्म हो जाता है। तो और ये सारा कुछ इस तरह से मेरे ख्याल में नहीं लेना चाहिए कि जो प्रेजेंटली नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी कहती है वो जैसे कोई परमात्मा की भुर्की बानी होती है उसकी तरह से उसको नहीं लेना चाहिए। वैसी एजुकेशन है वो कोई किसी को इस तरह से जो जानकारी के रूप में देने की चीज नहीं है, इसमें कोई रिसर्च वर्क भी करना होता है हम लोगों को। खासतौर पर टीचर्स जो इंटेलेक्चुअल्स हैं समाज के जो इसका तबका है उसने जो कुछ भी आता है उसके बारे में जो कोई आइडियोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में आता है, एजुकेशन पॉलिसी की तरह से आता है, उसके बारे में कोई अपना प्रतिक्रम भी देना होता है। बल साहब ने व्याख्याएं पूरी की हैं, अच्छी की हैं, उनकी जरूरत है, सभी को जानना भी चाहिए। अगर कुछ हमने अपनी तरफ से कोई सुझाव देना है तो ये सारा कुछ बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। परंतु बहुत सारे फिगर होते हैं नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के साथ जुड़े हुए। मैं सिर्फ पंजाब के साथ, पंजाब में जो एजुकेशन का जो फिनोमिना घटित हो रहा है उसके बारे में अपनी बात रखनी चाहूँगा। मैं इस बात पर लंबे समय से बल देता आ रहा हूँ कि जो आज 2020 में जो एजुकेशन पॉलिसी इंट्रोड्यूस कराई गई, इसका जो लागू होने का क्रम है वो काफी सालों से जारी है। सबसे पहले 2003 में सर्व शिक्षा अभियान का जो सिस्टम था वो आया, उसके तहत पढ़ो पंजाब वगैरह की जो इरेगुलर एजुकेशन की जो प्रणाली है उसको इंट्रोड्यूस कराया गया। रेगुलर एजुकेशन की बजाय इरेगुलर और इस तरह की जो प्रणाली है जिसमें 2000 से 3000 के करीब ऐसे अध्यापक स्कूलों में भर्ती किए गए या उनको स्कूलों से उठाया गया, एक्चुअली पहले भर्ती थे, उनको डोर टू डोर या स्कूल टू स्कूल इस तरह से जाकर एजुकेशन अपना देने के लिए कहा गया, डिलीवर करने के लिए कहा गया कि वो अपने स्कूल से दूसरे स्कूल पर में जाएं। और उन्होंने एक प्रोजेक्ट के तहत बड़े लंबे समय से काम किया है, जिसके जो रिजल्ट्स हम आजकल देख रहे हैं। उसमें क्या क्या सामने आया है, ये बहुत सारी डिटेल्स हैं जिनको बताने के लिए काफी वक्त चाहिए। थोड़ी बातें कर सकेंगे इस बार। उसका ऐसा है कि जो फैक्ट्स हैं, फिगर्स हैं, वो सरकार की तरफ से जो दिए जा रहे हैं, उनकी जो भी क्रेडिबिलिटी है, जो उसकी जो उनकी विश्वास योग्यता है, उसके बारे में भी सोचना बनता है काफी। मैं मोटा मोटा थोड़ा सा बात करना चाहूंगा कि 2003 में जो पंजाब में स्कूल एजुकेशन और दूसरी सारी जो गवर्नमेंट हायर एजुकेशन सी थी, उसमें लगभग 1,56,000 अध्यापक होते थे, जिसको अभी घटाकर लगभग 1 लाख, मेरे पास डाटा है इस बात का, जो अभी इनका जो सर्वे आया है, जो एम्प्लॉय सेंसस है, उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 1,07,000 के करीब, मैं देख रहा हूँ उसको, शीट्स को, 1,07,000 के करीब एम्प्लॉयज पंजाब गवर्नमेंट के अधीन सभी जो डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, मतलब स्कूल के और हायर एजुकेशन के, उसमें काम कर रहे हैं। तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट लुधियाना के बारे में मैंने पढ़ा था कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट लुधियाना के जो गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस हैं, उनमें लगभग 85% जो टीचर्स हैं उनकी जो पोस्ट हैं खाली कर दी गई हैं। ये असल में सीन है। जो क्लेम्स हैं एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के, वो क्लेम्स बड़े अजीब किस्म हैं। उसमें इस तरह की बात की गई है कि भी जो बच्चे, मतलब 5 करोड़ के करीब ऐसे हैं जिनको हायर एजुकेशन की जो उसको नहीं मिल पाता, वो आने वाले समय में 10 करोड़ भी हो जाएंगे। उनके लिए एक अनाउंसमेंट एजुकेशन पॉलिसी करती है कि उनके लिए हम एक जो हायर एजुकेशन का प्रबंध करने के लिए एक व्यवस्था बनाएंगे, पर उसके लिए जो करना चाहिए वो नहीं किया जा रहा। जो सुझाव एजुकेशन पॉलिसी दे रही है वो बड़ा खतरनाक है। उसमें कहा यह गया है कि जो गेस्ट फैकल्टीज कॉलेजेस में हैं उनको मान्यता दे रहे हैं, और इसी तरह से बहुत सारा कुछ ऐसा है कि जो टेम्परेरी एम्प्लॉयमेंट है, जिसकी बात बल साहब ने ही की थी कि ऐसी एम्प्लॉयमेंट जिसमें खामखा इस बात के लिए अध्यापकों को परखा जाएगा कि 5-5 साल के लिए वो प्रोबेशन के पीरियड से गुजरे, और उनकी प्रोबेशन की जो बात है वो भी इस तरह से टफ बना दी गई है कि भी वो मिनिमम वेजेस पर काम करें। इस तरह की तो जो प्रैक्टिकल विद इन द लाइंस दिखती पॉलिसी है, जिसमें ये खुशफहमी पालना कि वो सचमुच 6% जो जीडीपी है उसको लाने जा रहे हैं एजुकेशन के लिए, ये बड़ी अजीब सी बात लगती है कि इस तरह की खुशफहमी हम लोग पाल रहे हैं अपने मन में। इसमें सबसे बड़ी बात एजुकेशन पॉलिसी जो जिस बात पर कंसंट्रेशन अभी दोबारा से करनी चाहिए थी इस समय सारे में, तो शिक्षा का अधिकार है, उसके मामले में बहुत बड़े स्तर पर एक डिस्क्रिमिनेशन चल रही है। जिसके पास ज्यादा पैसा है, जिसके पास ज्यादा संसाधन है, वो अच्छी और क्वालिटी वाली एजुकेशन ले पा रहा है, और दूसरे लोग हैं जो जिनको वो स्कूल जो है जिनसे सरकार अपने वे करना चाहती है, उनके अपना अधिकार क्षेत्र में छोड़ दिया गया है कि वो उनकी शिक्षा का प्रबंध वो करेंगे जो बिल्कुल हैव नॉट्स हैं। तो हैव नॉट्स की गिनती पिछले समय में वैसे भी बड़ी है, और लोगों के पास रोजगार की जो किल्लत आई है बहुत बड़े स्तर पर। इस समय पर जो सम्मान जो एजुकेशन के अवसर देने चाहिए थे, उसको एजुकेशन पॉलिसी कहीं पर भी डिस्कस करती दिखाई नहीं देती। और ज्यादा से ज्यादा ये प्राइवेट स्कूल जो गली गली में खुलते हैं उनको मान्यता देने के जो लूप होल्स हैं उसको पैदा कर रही है। ये सारा कुछ देखने में मिल रहा है। अभी दो बातें कोठारी कमीशन ने 1968 में अपनी सिफारिशों की बहुत ज्यादा बात नहीं की गई, और इसके बाद 1986 में एक शिक्षा नीति आई, उसमें बहुत सारी इस तरह की बातें कही गई, जिनमें से धर्मनिरपेक्षता और जो इक्वालिटी की बातें थी उसको दोहराया गया था, उसके प्रति अपने जो वचन थे वो दोहराए गए थे। इस सब को नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ने डिस्कस ही कहीं किया है। ये बात अगर कोई व्याख्या में अपनी बता दे तो मैं प्रसन्नता महसूस करूंगा। और इसी तरह से जो कुछ सोचने वाली बातें हैं उनको मैं दर्जा ब दर्जा बताता चला जाऊंगा। मैंने एक बात कही थी कि भी ये प्रबंध करने का दावा करती है एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के भी जो बच्चे हायर एजुकेशन नहीं ले पाते उनको हम उनके लिए कोई शिक्षा का जो पक्का प्रावधान करेंगे, पर उसके लिए जो करना चाहिए उनके पास शिक्षित अध्यापकों की जरूरत चाहिए, और उनको ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्लासरूम्स चाहिए, लाइब्रेरीज चाहिए, जो खेल के मैदान चाहिए, प्रयोगशालाएं चाहिए। इनके प्रबंध के निश्चित जो स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं उनकी तरफ कोई ज्यादा ध्यान देने की बात, उनके लिए कोई किसी तरह के प्रबंध करने की बात से एजुकेशन पॉलिसी किनारा करती नजर आती है। और इस तरह के टेम्परेरी टीचर्स की जो बात है उसको ज्यादा से ज्यादा दोहराया गया है। ज्यादा से ज्यादा कहा गया है कि जो इस तरह से पंजाब में भी हो रहा है, जैसे एक ताजा जो पत्र है शिक्षा विभाग की तरफ से जारी हुआ है कि जो पेंशनर्स हैं वो अपने रिटायरमेंट के बाद स्कूलों में बिना किसी जो मान भत्ते के या तनख्वाह के वो काम करेंगे। वो सारी जो काम टीचर्स को, रेगुलर टीचर्स को करने होते हैं वो काम करेंगे, उनके लिए उन्होंने एप्लीकेशंस की कॉल की है। ये सारे इंडिकेशंस पंजाब में बड़े लंबे समय से दिखाई दे रहे हैं। मैंने एक बात पहले बताई थी कि जो कोर्ट्स हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा बड़े स्तर पर उनकी डाउन साइजिंग कर दी गई है, और ये एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में भी दिखाई देता है। हायर एजुकेशन के मामले में जब ये कहा गया कि वो वर्ल्ड क्लास जो कॉलेजेस हैं उनको खोलेंगे या उनको स्थापित करेंगे, उन कॉलेजेस के मुकाबलतन जो आजकल काम कर रहे हैं, 40,000 कॉलेज हैं वर्ल्ड हमारे देश में, और 850 यूनिवर्सिटियां इस समय काम कर रही हैं। इनमें से नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी साफ साफ ये स्टेटमेंट देती है कि इनमें से सिर्फ वही जो कॉलेजेस हैं उनको प्रमोट किया जाएगा जिनमें पढ़ने वाले विद्यार्थी 2000 से 5000 तक जरूर हों। और जो इसके बारे में पिछली जो पॉलिसीज रही हैं, कोठारी कमीशन की पॉलिसी थी नेबरहुड स्कूल और नेबरहुड एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन की, उसको पूरी तरह से दरकिनार कर दिया गया है और कहा यह जा रहा है कि सो कॉल्ड वर्ल्ड क्लास जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनको एस्टेब्लिश करेंगे। तो फिर 6% जीडीपी की जो एजुकेशन वो कहाँ पर जाकर जीडीपी का जो खर्चा 6% बजट अलॉट किया जाएगा वो कहाँ आएगा, ये इसके बारे में भी काफी संदेह उत्पन्न हो रहे हैं आजकल। तो 840,000 कॉलेजों की बजाय 850 यूनिवर्सिटियों की बजाय केवल 12,300 कॉलेज और यूनिवर्सिटियां जो है उनके ऊपर नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी जोर दे रही है कि इनको हम प्रमोट करेंगे। यही इनका अपना इस तरह का टारगेट है। तो ये एजुकेशन के विस्तार का टारगेट है या उसको संकुचित करने का टारगेट है, ये बातें सामने आ रही हैं। और पंजाब के बारे में मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि जो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन का सिलसिला चला हुआ है उसकी वजह से सारे स्कूल कॉलेज और यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं उनको एक तरह से पूरी तरह से बंद कर दिया गया है। और इस वजह से बच्चों के साथ जो छोटे बच्चे हैं जो 10th 5th से लेकर 10th वाले या 1st से लेकर 5th वाले, उन बच्चों के पास जो स्मार्टफोन वगैरह की सुविधा नहीं है, उसके चलते सारे अध्यापकों को ये कहा जा रहा है कि उनकी जूम क्लासेस लगाएं। और जो कंडीशंस हैं, मटेरियल ग्राउंड कंडीशंस हैं, उसमें ये है कि वो सभी के सभी बच्चे, उनमें से सिर्फ 2-4% बच्चे ही एजुकेशन ले पा रहे हैं। उनके साथ एक बड़ा डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इस समय हो रहा है। और इसका जो ग्राउंड तैयार किया गया है वो कोरोना वायरस की महामारी है। इसको किसी हद तक माना भी जा सकता है, परंतु सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग को अगर दूसरी जगहों पर अप्लाई किया जा सकता है तो स्कूलों में भी ये दलील हम लोग देते हैं, अप्लाई किया जा सकता है। सारे स्कूलों कॉलेजेस को अप्लाई किया जा सकता है अगर ज्यादा से ज्यादा डिले किया जा रहा है। अभी ऐसा हो रहा है कि इस वजह से
जस्ट कि मेरा ख्याल अब न्यू एजुकेशन, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी तक रखें, क्योंकि अभी प्रोफेसर अजीब भी अपना रिस्पॉन्स देंगे। मैं आपका सचमुच में ही शुक्रगुजार हूँ जो आपने, अगर मैं नर्सरी में कहना चाहूँ कि आपने ये बात की और बहुत ही वो चिंता जो आपने व्यक्त की है वो वैल्यू रखती है कि धीरे धीरे ये जो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है अपने मुताबिक जो वेलफेयर स्टेट वाला कॉन्सेप्ट था उसको खाती जा रही है। तो पहले ये बात की जाती रही है बार बार कि शिक्षा पे जीडीपी का 6% जो बजट का है वो खर्चा हो, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ प्रैक्टिकली देखें कि जो बातें या नुक्ते जैसे डॉक्टर पल ने बताए तो उसमें वो कहीं नजर नहीं आ रहा। एडहॉकिज्म जो है उसको ज्यादा प्रमोट किया जा रहा है और शायद कहीं एक्सक्लूसिविज्म जो एक्सक्लूड करना है एक जो सोशल इकोनॉमिक तौर पे जो तबका वीक है उनका एक्सक्लूजन इसमें नजर आ रहा है। खास तौर पे जो आपने बात की कि जो धर्मनिरपेक्षता की बात थी, सेकुलरिज्म की बात थी, जो कोर वैल्यूज है हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में उनको स्ट्रेंथन करने की बात नहीं की, तो ये मुख्य ही चिंता के विषय है। आपके मैं इन विचारों के लिए आपको धन्यवाद करता हूँ। और प्रोफेसर अजीब बोल चुके तो उसके बाद में वो रिस्पॉन्ड करें। और मैं आपको
अभी एक बात मैं सिर्फ कहना चाहता हूँ, उसके लिए सिर्फ 2 मिनट चाहिए मुझे। हेलो,
हाँ जी बोलिए, वाइंड अप कीजिए।
हाँ जी, मैं कंक्लूजन में बताना ये चाहूंगा अपनी तरफ से कि जो एक्चुअली एकेडमिक स्ट्रक्चर भी बनाया गया है ना, उसमें बहुत सारी जो पिछला एकेडमिक स्ट्रक्चर था उसमें से ही कुछ ज्यादा उसको नए शब्दों के साथ एक्सप्लेन किया गया है और क्लेम किया गया कि ये नया एकेडमिक स्ट्रक्चर हम लेकर आए, छोड़कर उन बातों को जो अपना ग्रेजुएशन में अलग सब्जेक्ट्स ले सकते हैं, इन बातों को छोड़कर बाकी सभी बातें हैं जो वो पुरानी वाली हैं, वो प्रैक्टिकेबल नहीं है। ये बात हम लोग सभी जानते हैं। सिर्फ एक अनारकी वाली कहना है जो पैदा करेगा। और मैं इसके बारे में संक्षेप में ये कहना चाहूंगा कि इस समय जो एजुकेशन का सिनारियो चल रहा है, एजुकेशन पॉलिसीज का सिनारियो चल रहा है, इसमें 3 बातें, मैं उनको एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना, सिर्फ उनको टाइटल के रूप में ही बताऊंगा। वो ये है कि पहले इनका मनोरथ है बर्बाद करो एजुकेशन के, जो खासतौर पर पब्लिक सेक्टर के इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनको बर्बाद करो। दूसरा इनका जो उद्देश्य है वो है इनको बदनाम करो। इसके लिए उन्होंने एनजीओज, कॉर्पोरेट्स के अंदर काम करने वाली, उनकी फंडिंग से चलने वाली एनजीओज इंट्रोड्यूस कराई हैं, उनकी घुसपैठ करवा कर सभी इंस्टीट्यूशन में उनको नाम करने के बहुत सारे जो अपना फैक्ट नहीं हुए वो सोच होते हैं, उनको व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटीज में उछाला जाता है, सोशल मीडिया दूसरा मीडिया में ला ये जो कर रहे हैं, इसका ये सभी को सोच लेना चाहिए। हम लोग दुनिया को रास्ते खाने वाले हैं। ये सभी प्रबंध, सारा प्रबंध जो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में एकेडमिक्स का वाला भी है ना, ये सारी स्थितियां पैदा करने के बाद जो पब्लिक सेक्टर के इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जो समाज वाली एजुकेशन देने हैं, उनको बेच देने का प्रबंध है। मैं अपनी बात इसी बात पर समाप्त करता हूँ। बहुत सारे दूसरे लोगों को सुनना चाहूंगा खुद भी। नीरज, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Professor Duty. Now, may I request Professor Rajiv McMullen to give his response on the talk of Dr. Professor Rajiv McMullen.
Okay, can you hear me?
Please put on your video also.
Put on my video also. Okay, I think now you can see me, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Bal for putting in a nutshell such a long topic, and I would agree with him that yes, potentially this education policy has some way for betterment, as he gave the example of Mark Zuckerberg, who combined computer science with psychology, and he became such a big entrepreneur and such a big businessman, and one of the big success stories because of this thing. So if this type of combination of subjects would be there in India, it would be good. But of course, I do agree with Dr. Gurpreet Singh that the actual implementation of this is quite important. A few years before, there was what was known as the Birla Ambani report, and Birla Ambani report is always saying that colleges, universities should be market oriented. What market oriented means, basically, that colleges and universities should simply be producing people who can work in factories or who could be managers in their factories. We know George Orwell also talked about the term double speak, and this idea of autonomy. Does it really mean giving us a freedom of a speech and freedom to print and write what we want, or is it actually saying that this new neoliberal agenda that we no longer are going to support these institutions financially? Of course, we see that BJP they don't really much follow the old socialist model. They're very much influenced by the American capitalist model. And if you look in America, people from middle class backgrounds, many students, they have to spend 10 or 15 years of their life paying back the loans because there's so much expense for colleges. Okay, so just a few, 2 or 3 observations that, of course, India was at one time a great place, and the French philosopher Voltaire has said that anything great which has come into this world was produced on the banks of the river Ganga. So at one time, see, the French people were saying whatever thing great was produced in the banks of the river Ganga, यानी कि इंडिया में बना. पर अब जैसे डॉक्टर जतिंदर बल ने कहा कि अब हम वो 300 यूनिवर्सिटीज के टॉप में भी एक भी इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूशन का नाम नहीं आता है ना? So we have to look a little bit about the theory of education, and as you know, Michel Foucault has done quite a lot of work on education. Prior to his work, the idea was that the governments are caring about the poor people. That's why they are making education compulsory. But Michel Foucault has shown that actually the real purpose of making education compulsory was that the ruling class wanted to control the minds of all the people in the schools. And Michel Foucault, to give proof of this, also said that many models could have been adopted in the schools or colleges. But what was adopted? The military model. All wearing the same uniform, not questioning authority, whatever authority says to say that. So other countries, particularly the Western countries, I think particularly some of the Nordic countries like Denmark, Holland, Finland, they have really gone ahead, and they are no longer following this authoritarian type of system of education, and children are encouraged to develop their imagination. And I was fortunate enough that I went to an international school in Missouri, and there also the first couple of years, a teacher would, there was one period the teacher will read us a story, and we were very happy. We would be very absorbed listening to the story. Later on, as we got a bit elder in fourth or fifth class, then we were given some small books to read ourselves, and then read the book and then give a presentation about what we had read. So this was actually developing our cognitive skills, because for anything great, you need to have your imagination there. And then later on, when I went to University of Toronto, it was completely different from the Indian system of education. In Indian colleges, you simply take the book in whatever subject and memorize it. When the exam comes, you simply write that. But when I was there in the first year itself, I was studying the English Revolution. So our teacher gave us two different writers, and both writers were giving completely different views on the English Revolution. So our thing was, in 20 pages we had to write. First of all, we had to summarize the one author, then summarize the second author, and then we actually had to give our own opinion, that weighing the evidence of one writer, the evidence of the different writer, what our own opinion is. So that is something which is pretty unique. In India, it still is not adopted. Maybe only at the PhD level, at the MPhil level, you have such an independent thinking. So, I mean, if this government is really sincere about saying what it is, then they really have to have a lot more of freedom of expression and allow the imagination to develop. And obviously, as Dr. Gurpreet Singh has said, that the financial condition of the poorer classes, they have to be given a lot of more scholarships. The teachers themselves cannot be constantly worrying about their whether they'll be permanent or not. There has to be some permanent teachers as well. So let's hope that some of this government says would actually be implemented. I'm a bit cynical myself about what's going to happen because a lot of what the government has said about bringing black money back, about creating jobs and so on, has not been done so far. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, thanks for giving me a few minutes of your precious time. And now you can have some more interaction. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Rajiv, for your critical evaluation of the present policy and giving views. Now, I will invite Jatinder in the end, but let me share one contradiction regarding the implementation of policy. And rather, I can say that gap between theory and practice. Let me share one point. I have seen in the chart presented by Dr. Bal in his discourse, which he showed on the screen. इन्होंने ये दिखाया वहां पे कि वो गवर्नमेंट जो क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग भी डेवलप करेगी. That's very nice. But we see practically few years back during the tenure of this government, the CBSE abolished the teaching of philosophy from its curriculum. Central Board of School Education, New Delhi, abolished the teaching of philosophy. Philosophy is that kind of subject which makes a person argumentative, logical, rational human being. So this is necessary for every subject. Logic is basically used in all the subjects, even in daily life it is useful. There would be lesser wars if people will be logical. There will be no problem of communalism, fundamentalism, if people will be more logical. So why government is abolishing such kind of subjects which are necessary for making critical minds? This is beyond my understanding. You're absolutely right, both of you. In fact, as far as you express your skeptic views regarding the sincerity of implementation and what is the draft resolution of claiming. So, बातें बहुत हुई हैं. तो ये डाउट लगता है कि एक तरफ तो क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग का दिया है, लेकिन जो सब्जेक्ट क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग तैयार करता है वही अबॉलिश कर दिया है। और उनके टीचर्स पंजाब में भी देखा जाए, पंजाब स्कूल्स में जो स्कूल्स हैं वहां फिलॉसफी के टीचर्स नहीं है, फिलॉसफी सब्जेक्ट रखा हुआ है, तो फिलॉसफी के टीचर्स नहीं रखे गए कि क्रिटिकल ना पैदा हो। सो ये जो गवर्नमेंट्स की या की जनरल प्रेडिक्शंस नजर आती है, मेरा ख्याल एज ए सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया और एज ए टीचर, क्योंकि हमने आगे कई जनरेशन को पढ़ाना है, तो हमारी बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है। तो ये मैं थैंकफुल हूँ तक ये क्रिटिकल जो रिफ्लेक्शन के लिए। और अब मैं एक क्वेश्चन स्टूडेंट की तरफ से भी आया है, भावना ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि पीएचडी का जो एंट्रेंस टेस्ट होता है पंजाबी यूनिवर्सिटी, पटियाला, चंडीगढ़, दिल्ली या दूसरी यूनिवर्सिटी में, उनका पैटर्न डिफरेंट होता है। इफ वी आर वन नेशन, तो वो कॉमन जो है उसका सिलेबस क्यों है, काफी ज्यादा मुश्किल आती है जब कोई पंजाबी यूनिवर्सिटी पटियाला का जो एमए करके जा रहा है दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी या जेएनयू, तो उनको एंट्रेंस टेस्ट में उस सिलेबस में काफी भिन्नताएं नजर आती हैं। क्या नई एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ऐसा कुछ करने जा रही है यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन? और साथ ही एक और क्वेश्चन है कि बहुत ज्यादा कुछ बना भी दिए गए, क्या ऑनर्स कॉलेज बनाते बनाते बीच में बात ये तो नहीं कि गवर्नमेंट अपनी फंडिंग से जी चुरा रही है? जो फंडिंग की ये बात करते हैं 6% हम करेंगे, तो वो ऑटोनॉमी दे के उनको टोटल सेल्फ फाइनेंस मैनेजमेंट बनाने की तरफ एक कदम है। यही वो गवर्नमेंट अपना जो फंड वाली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कोर सेक्टर्स पे, वो तो नहीं खींच रही। तो मैं चाहता हूं कि इन क्वेश्चंस का डॉक्टर जतिंदर अगर चाहते हैं तो रिस्पॉन्ड करें। डॉक्टर बल।
थैंक यू सर। सर एक्चुअली ये जो कॉमन एंट्रेंस टेस्ट है वो ऑल ओवर इंडिया का कॉमन कर देंगे, वो एजेंसी है एनटीए, कॉमन फॉर ऑल केसेस, नेशनल टेस्टिंग।
एक मिनट सर, प्लीज स्विच ऑफ, प्लीज म्यूट योर पार्टिसिपेंट्स सर, प्लीज।
Yes. So there will be one common entrance test for all higher educational institutes for admissions. That will be the NTA. NTA, National Testing Agency, will conduct a common entrance test. Even there is a provision that the global ranking university in the foreign country having ranking up to 50, means all the university from 1 ranking to up to 50 ranking, they establish their campus in India. I think it will give more competitions to the Indian university to compete with those universities. Because earlier the condition was there to give the security amount of 50 CRs. Now that is abolished, and now any foreign university can establish their campus in India if their global ranking is up to 50. And moreover, I just want a little about Dr. Gopi Singh. Thank you for your critical evaluation of the same. But as I was remained there for attended more than 30 to 35 meetings with all the stakeholders at that time during the preparation of draft of this policy, so got more than 1,25,000 suggestions. We tried to incorporate all those suggestions, and need to be, the implementation is maybe the one of the issue, but there are so many features which are very positive and very, I think, will be successfully executed in the new education policy, like multiple entry, multiple exit. I think this is the one of the best scheme for students. If I talk about the flexibility of choosing subject, this is also good. There are many features in the new education policy which are taken on the basis of suggestion of all the stakeholders. So there will be some one NTA which will conduct the common entrance test for all the higher education, even for Indian, if the foreign university establish their campus in India for the same. No need to appear in a separate Punjab, JNU and EDU. So will appear only in one examination test. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. I think the descriptive part, you are an expert, really marvelous description has been given by regarding the policy, as you are you have been one of the members of the process. Thank you for that. And on the other side, I really value the critical evaluation done by my respectable friends. So it means as an intelligentsia, really we have a very high responsibility of reading and then critically evaluating it by ourselves. I think this lecture of yours and the whole of these kind of deliberations will be helpful for mentally stimulating us. So, Dr. Bhai, I am thankful to you once again due to this very reason. Really, this is means very fine mind brainstorming session was there because Professor Rajiv and Gurpreet have explained it from the other angle also. Now, if there is any question, then I invite the students also. If anybody wants to question, then they can do. कोई भी और क्वेश्चन है, कोई भी पूछना चाहे या कोई कमेंट हो तो आप दे सकते हो. So I think so. This is a success of this webinar that all the questions have exhausted, and now may I invite Dr. Jatinder Singh, Head Department of Zoology, to pay vote of thanks formally. Dr. Jatinder Singh. Madam Ranjana?
Audio.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Audio on karo.
Yes, sir.
Madam, Dr. JP Singh.
Hello, JP sir.
JP sir, अपना माइक अनम्यूट कीजिए प्लीज.
सर अनम्यूट ही है बट सर रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर रहे. माइक ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ अनम्यूट है.
Good afternoon. Hello.
हेलो जेपी सर ਤੁਹਾਡੀ आवाज नहीं आ रही.
आगे डॉक्टर साहब, आगे मैडम आगे. थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब. अपना माइक अनम्यूट करके नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट यू. नाउ यू आर ऑडिबल. या.
Hello.
आगे.
Hello. Good afternoon. आ रही है आवाज सर?
हाँ जी आ रही है. अच्छा, डॉक्टर जेपी सिंह के अलावा बाकी सभी अपना माइक म्यूट कर लें.
I am highly thankful to our resource person, Professor Dr. Jatinder Singh Bal, former Vice Chancellor, Sant Baba Bhag Singh University, Jalandhar. I am highly thankful to him for such a valuable talk on this recent topic. He has delivered his talk very nicely. So I am thankful to him for this very good lecture on this current topic. I am also thankful to the two of our participants who have made very good discussion, Mr. Gurpreet ji and Professor Rajiv McMullen from Department of History. I am highly thankful to both of them for making the webinar a successful, for such a wonderful this discussion on this topic. I am also thankful to Professor, some of my colleagues from other colleges, Professor Ritu Goswami, HOD, Department of Botany, R.R. Baba, DAV College, Banala, Professor Dr. Kulvinder Pal Singh, Mali, Professor Gurpreet Singh, Professor Bhavna Malik, and Dr. Charanjit Kaur, Dr. Prasenjit Kaur, Dr. Atma Singh Gill, and I am also thankful to some of other participants, especially Hajuri Ragi Gyani Jagrup Singh ji, and some other participants. I have a big list of all the participants: Anchal Arora, Amrit Kaur. Though I am naming those participants who have contributed in discussion also, who have sent messages also in the chat box. Shri Narayan Mishra ji, and Navdeep Kumar ji, Sachin Gupta ji, Jagmohan Singh, so Harjot Singh, Gurpreet Kaur. So I am thankful to all the participants who have, and all other participants. I am also thankful to my colleagues, Dr. Lalit, HOD, Department of Political Science, and Professor Alka Bhumotra, Professor Alka Sekhdi, and Professor Rajiv McCullen, Dr. Rajniwala, and Professor Harbhavdi, Professor Ashwini from Computer Department, Professor Amandeep Kaur from Punjabi Department. And I am thankful to all my colleagues from my college and the participants and teachers and respected teachers from other institutions. I am also thankful to students of my college as well as from other colleges who participated in this webinar. I am thankful to our worthy principal, Professor Dr. Edward Massey, who always encourage us to organize this type of programs, this type of webinars. Thank you, sir. I am also thankful to the technical staff who have contributed for this. Especially, I am thankful to Professor Alka Bhumotra for technical assistance for making feedback form. So I am thankful to all the participants and all my colleagues. So in the last, I have three options. I can invite you for a cup for a lunch in my college. Or second option that I can arrange from some online lunch for you. Or third option, which I think, which is that option is you should stay at home and take lunch in your kitchen, and that will be healthy and that will be more appropriate in this corona age. So third option, this time we are opting the third option, that you should take your lunch at your home, go to kitchen and take lunch according to your choice. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jatinder. Thank you so much.
So I am also thankful to my colleagues, my organizers, other two organizers,
Thank
Madam
you.
Ranjana and Professor Neeraj Kumar Sharma, HOD Department of Philosophy. And I want to share one thing, that Professor Neeraj and myself, we have organized 6 webinars in last month.
Yes,
and
sir.
we have organized 6 webinars in this month of June. Now 7th webinar that is we are going to arrange on this 7th July. That will be on some environmental issue. In that we have arranged guest speaker Sant Baba Sichewal ji and Madam HOD Botany Department from GR. I invite all of you to be a part of that webinar also. So I am thankful to all the participants, to our resource person, to our principal sir, to my colleagues, to students. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
एक जस्ट मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ सभी से कि प्लीज डोंट लीव द ग्रुप, एज यू विल बी getting the information for future webinars also. We will be mutually benefited from this exercise, as Dr. A.P. Singh have just communicated that they are going to organize one webinar on environmental issues. Baba Sichewal is really one of the sincerest man who is not having the gap between theory and practice. So, sir, really thank you for informing. And now I hand over the mic to Madam Ranjana. Thank you.
Thank you, Neeraj sir. Thank you, Lalit sir, Rajiv sir. Thank to you, Dr. Bal sir. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਟਰੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਿਆ। ਆਈ ਹੋਪ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਕਲੈਰਿਟੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੋਣੀ ਹੈ। ਐਂਡ ਪਰਸਨਲੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਐਸੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਲੈਰਿਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ। 5+3+3+4 now it's all clear. Thank you all. In future I hope कि ਅਸੀਂ फिर वेबिनार करांगे या सेमिनार करांगे ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕੋरोना ਦੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੋ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੈਵਲ ਦਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ। Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, now I'm just continuing this. We will be meeting again sometime. Thank you.
Okay.